Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/ask Reddit by Planet Reddit. What's an immediate red flag when trying to make friends? Someone who's always sees themselves as the victim even when they're in the wrong. I'd a friend like that. I'm a male and my male friend sexually handled me in front of a room full of friends. I called him out for it and he could not accept responsibility for his actions and tried to make himself out to be the victim that I was wrongly accusing him. Even though a room full of people saw this, needless to say we are no longer friends. He's lucky I never pressed charges. I'm so sorry about that, man. Why didn't you press charges? Sexual abandonment is a pretty big deal. Good question. 1. Police and courts here are pretty backwards and don't really see man-on-man rape as a thing, but if a man does anything on a woman, different story. 22. My friends who witnessed this would have been questioned by police and I didn't want to put them through that either. They hit you up and act all friendly, make tentative plans, then immediately ask for something. Bro, this happens to me. Friend wanted to hang and was adamant I give him some ADHD medicine. Edit. Guys chill, I didn't give him any. You're a bad doctor. He shouldn't have to do that to get his ADHD prescription. So this is a Wendy's. They don't ask you any questions about you but will talk about themselves all day long. Or they ask you a question and then interrupt when they find an opportunity to talk about themselves again. Them. So how was your day? You. Good. I was. Them. Cool. My day has been crazy doing and continues on for an hour. If you might as well be a tickle me Elmo during conversations. That's a red flag. I'm autistic, so I accidentally do similar things. If somebody says they've had a bad day, I'll tell them about my bad day if I had one so that they aren't alone. It's common with autistic people. I think it's kind of a D move if it's just being used as an excuse to talk about themselves though. But for some it might be different. If one of the first conversation you have with people ends up with them bad-mouthing their other friends, I'd keep my distance, because you know deep down that they will talk like that about you too. This one, and the second and third conversations, and basically forever, it's fine to discuss mutual friends respectfully, but pay careful attention to how they talk about them. If they're full on pissing on PPL constantly, guaranteed they're doing it to you too. Toxic. I grew up without a lot of friends, but getting involved in playing in local bands changed that throughout my adult years. The group of friends I got really involved with were full of people who did just this to each other all the time. All of them. They all talked shit on each other, usually for the dumbest shit, and for years I didn't think any of them said anything about me. I always tried to bend over backwards for them, and not give them reasons to think anything awful about me, especially to a point of shitting on me behind my back. But then I found out that a good number of those people had been doing just that, and for a long time. A good lot of them gossiped about me, and when I found out, I was pretty devastated for a while. I didn't trust anyone anymore, and started regularly shutting people out and not coming around to anything. It's absolutely true. Backstabbers will eventually backstab you too. You can never win with this type of people. If you bend over they'll say you're pushover / not interesting. If you BCH with them about other people, they might put all the blame on you and paint you as mean. My co-workers are like this and usually I just listen and add some "oh really? No, impossible. It seems like you're involved in the chat but they can't say you really participated in gossiping." If someone only ever talks about themselves, never asks how you're doing, that's a one-way street I have no interest walking down. Always been a victim of that, lol. Seems to happen a lot to me too. Ah yes, Kevin. Kevin loves him some Kevin. Mind if I smoke? Then they pull out a meth pipe. Huge red flag for not sharing. Oh, don't get me wrong, he shared. I'm not saying I don't dabble, it's just a red flag first time meeting someone. That's called being a good host. If you feel like you have to change yourself to get along with them, I'd like to note that changing yourself is different from being the best version of yourself. Friends that make you want to up your own game are good friends to have. If you find out that half of your friends are on academic probation, don't be afraid to admit you were wrong about them. I scrolled low enough to find this. This happened to me quite a lot in my freshman year, to a point I'm awfully exhausted to keep up with them and I finally decide to give up. I may not be the positive, outgoing person like I used to, but I definitely felt happier when there's not pressure or, I don't know the word, the feeling of being forced to adapt, peer pressure. And now I just do my own stuff and not keep up with the trends anymore. Asking to borrow money. Great spenders are often bad lenders. Ben Franklin. And the worst frienders. But they cook the best chicken tenders. When they talk at you, not with you. I know this one more than I would like to admit, and I knew I wasn't crazy when I said that people talk to themselves but with you hearing. What do you mean by this? I am a high-functioning autist trying to see if I have done any of these things without realizing it. Since you're autistic, it may not apply to you. Your condition is medical. Their condition is being an but it's when what you are saying doesn't matter. They'll keep on talking. They're not pausing for your replies or your input. They're just straight up talking at you and not to you. Even if you get a reply in, or engage in the conversation, they'll just continue and quite often change the subject even after you tried to engage. Basically, try to imagine you weren't there. See if what they are saying would still make sense. If it does, they might as well talk to a brick wall. They're not interested in your input at all. Anyone else reading the comments primarily to see if you could someone else's red flag? I'm trying to pin down why nobody wants to be friends with me. I'll be your friend buddy. I'll be your buddy guy. Instantly wanna spend time with me 24/7 and gets offended and takes it personally if I can't hang out or simply don't want to. As an introvert who never had much friends, I do this unfortunately. It's a bad habit that I actively try to shake. The first step to breaking bad habits is recognizing it in the first place. IDK if you're looking for advice, but what it says, if you catch yourself getting upset or angry because someone can't hang out with you, just ask them if they'd be free for another day or week, or just be super friendly about it. Chances are, if you're friendly and you're like, hey, no worries, let's plan for another time, they'll want to reach out to you again. Thank you, as I do get upset if they don't have time. Sometimes, the issue comes from them not invested in the friendship as me. I go 100% in all my relationships. I am also working that. When people only talk and hang out with you when they need something from you. Met so many people like this in my time at university. I thought it was normal. Turned out I just had shitty friends who never checked in after school. I got sick of this. Now I have like 2 friends, and even then they don't contact me often. Like, I love helping people, but when my life's shit hits the fan and not one of like 12 people can even give me a ride once, I'm done. Like romantic relationships, people moving too fast. I fell into 2 relationships like this, one where the woman called me her best friend after knowing each other less than a month, and the other a woman asking me to be her bridesmaid after only hanging out together about 5 times. They both turned out to be awful narcissists and were likely using love bombing to earn my friendship. Yes, I have to second this. Love bombing doesn't necessarily have to come from a narcissist either. It can be a sign of other mental problems or general uncertainty. I had a friend once where I thought we got on like a house on fire. We talked a lot and had amazing times until we went on holiday together. It was way too early in the relationship, about 2 months after we met. But I was naive and thought we were good enough friends for that. Turns out we weren't. And turns out a self-absorbed person can't just strip off their behavior. Needless to say, we're not in contact anymore. Because I actively choose not to. I believe in their mind. We're actually still good friends. Did something happen on the holiday between you two? Or did you just realize they weren't a person you want to be around anymore? Oh no, now I'm worried someone is going to think I'm love bombing them. Hello 3 AM anxiety. When they keep trying to top you. Oh yeah, well I did this. I had a friend that did this constantly. Like you couldn't say anything without her having done the same thing or done something better at some point. When I finally was like, can we not with the one-upping? It makes me feel bad she pretended to cry and dramatically ended the friendship. LOL, what a mess. Well, that's nothing. I had at least 2 friends and a dog who did that. Or one-upping negative things. I was talking to 2 friends of mine about the Americans W Disabilities Act and also 504 plans. Since I'm a disabled student, I was talking about how my deafness is legally covered, and this person whom I don't really consider a friend anymore says, "TCH, at least yours is covered. He's not disabled. He also liked to one up like oh, yep, I didn't even go to sleep last night. Or I have it worse. I was checked into a mental hospital. Remember? It's a huge red flag and gets very tiring after a while. When you can clearly hear them rummaging through your bathroom cabinets while talking to themselves for 30 minutes, which happened this past weekend. That ended the new friendship very quickly. Okay, I'm going to need some more details here. Did you ever figure out what they were looking for? 30 minutes? Seriously? Also, could you overhear what they were saying? So many questions. I'm handing pill bottles or something. They had been an addict apparently in the past. Then I could hear them having some kind of conversation and thought they might be on the phone, but then saw their phone on the couch. I couldn't hear what they were saying. It was mostly incoherent. I had a schizophrenic friend who came over to my house, realized she forgot her meds, and proceeded to tear apart my medicine cabinet looking for her meds. We both laughed about it later when everything was calmer and we figured out what the yuck was going on. But yeah, it was weird in the moment. Unprovoked passive aggression. Oh yeah, thanks Sagashiro. I'm sure we'll find some great examples further down the thread. I'm a very blunt woman and I take shit from absolutely no one. Message I got literally 20 minutes ago. Thanks you for reminding me. Is that passive aggression? For me, as a gay man, it's when a girl makes a comment about needing a gay best friend, or says something like gay people are so funny, or clearly starts to treat me differently, in a superficial way. When they find out I'm gay, it makes me immediately see them as shallow and I feel like I'm being used as an accessory. I get really self-conscious about accidentally doing this. But the thing is, as soon as I find out a guy is gay, it means I can drop my guard and don't have to be worried about leading him on or trying to figure out if he's hitting on me, and I can just be friends with them. This means I treat gay men very differently to not gay men. I really hope it doesn't come across as yay gay best friend, because to me it just means we can skip straight to being friends instead of trying to figure out how to friend zone them safely. No, it's not weird at all. Just treat people like you would be treated. That's all. I understand that when someone is hitting on you it's just really annoying or awkward and restrains on the friendship. I've had this happen so many times with guys who only wanted to hang out with me because they were into me. I just want platonic friendships semicolon. If the person rants and raves about politics and doesn't discuss anything else, ever, especially unprompted, everything turns into a rant about politics. Even if I agree with the person, it's tiresome. Yeah, it's extremely tiresome. I have a friend that does this all the time and I'm just like, no dude. You're preaching to the choir here for the millionth time. I get it already. Completely negative and complains. My neighbor's been trying to get to know me and he does nothing but complain about things and people. It's hard to try to get to know them when I bring up any topic or common person and it's nothing but complaints. You know they're dragging you every chance they get. Might be good to minimize contact. I feel like this might be more of a high school thing. But when I started becoming friends with more popular people and they thought making fun of my old friends or other unpopular friends was a good way to bond. This happened to me in school. I was thrilled to have some popular friends, but they were making fun of my friends who weren't so popular and trying to get me to join in, and I put a stop to that immediately. They can either respect my other friends or we're not friends. Simple. When you don't like them, I swear people miss this one all the time. Simple but so important. When I stop liking a friend for whatever reason, usually I find a side of them that I can't stand. I'll drop them. Somehow. Most people I know would just stay friends with them. Over half of my friends just really aren't good friends, or that specific friendship doesn't work, but I really don't have enough friends to just decide to lose them. IDKY. But for me, making friends is really hard. I heavily suspect I'm annoying in some way, and really want to work towards fixing it as soon as I figure out what it is. But the 3 friends I actually consider friends 100% of the time insist that I'm not annoying. Don't take advice from people on Reddit regarding making friends. Most of them aren't great at making friends. That's why they're here. Take advice from people who's not a Redditor. Reddit is like real life in that you shouldn't take advice from 80% of people. The problem is that in Reddit it's way harder to tell who the 20% is, and they're usually not the most upvoted. Someone who constantly talks about how they suffer from so and so mental disorder and uses that as their excuse to act the way they do. I am fully supportive of any mental disorder and have full sympathy and support of anyone suffering from mental disorders. This is purely personal experience. Mental illness is an explanation for someone's behavior, not an excuse. I have a mental illness and I swear by that statement. The phrase, "It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility," changed my life. Getting super close really quick is a red flag for me. The last time that happened I was the rebound and the person only befriended me in spite of their ex-BFF. It's happened to me too. Same situation. Agree with everything but number 5, depending on the age of the people involved and the nature of the relationship. If someone is in a healthy marriage, long-term partnership, no abuse or manipulation on the part of one partner to isolate the other, I expect that my friends are going to prioritize their so over me, and they understand that my husband is going to be prioritized over them. Yes, exactly. I will always prioritize my husband over my friends, but I will also make time for them and spend time with them, especially if they need me. Somebody willing to be my friend. Don't have time for those with poor judgment. I just usually only get along with guys. This one bothers me. I don't do anything to turn away friendships with other girls, but it's hard finding ones that are into my interests. Like, am I pushing them away? I'm not trying to, there just isn't much to share. As long as you're not going around declaring I don't get on with girls, they're so dramatic, or I'm not like other girls, I only get along with guys, like some sort of woman hater, you're probably fine. I'm a very antisocial woman and I have just one close female friend. But I don't go around declaring my distaste for other women, cause I don't have it, so nobody knows or cares about my female friendships. I've never had good luck with these types of women in friendships, and I am now wary of women who don't have female friends. They always claim that women are too much drama, then without fail are completely beyond batshit crazy. They can fool guys because they drink straight whiskey and love sports or some shit. Obviously I have met super introverted women, people who just don't have a ton of friends in general, and I am not talking about them. It's the ones who have to announce that they're not like other girls or that they only have guy friends because women are crazy. They usually only get along with guys that without fail end up being ucking nuts in my experience. Overt clinginess from the start. Join our community Discord, link in description. Someone who always tries to one-up you in experiences. How obsessed they are with social media. I understand if maybe you are cause it's your business or whatever, but PPL obsessed with social media are most likely stuck in a high school mindset and are always involved in petty drama. Is it a red flag if a person I just met immediately acts like we've been friends for years? Not necessarily. Some people are just warm and welcoming. However, it is a bad sign if suddenly they tell you that you're their only friend. If they try to pressure you into being too close too soon, that is a problem. When you are always the one to call or text, I will reach out to friends, and if I stop for a couple of weeks and they never text me, then I know it's not a real friendship. This is how I came to realize I have only 2 real friends. I understand that we're adults, and things can get busy, but if I'm the only one ever initiating conversation, then I can suffer a bet and you're not interested in conversation or making plans with me. Whenever I meet someone and we are eating at a restaurant, I pay close attention at how they treat the waiters and whoever might be providing a service. If you treat every human being the same way you treat me, I at least know you're not faking it. If they're constantly talking shit about other people, when the person doesn't care about you, happy cake day. I agree. I still struggle with talking about only myself, even inadvertently. Thank you. 1. Someone not remembering my name after being told a couple times. Too bad talking other friends of theirs. If all people thought like that, I would not have any friends. That one is very true though. The name part is like a roulette for me. Either I remember a name for all eternity, or just can't stick it in my brain. Then I try hard, but can't promise it'll let me. I don't do it on purpose. So know that one isn't necessarily forgetting because they don't connect to you or like you. I was lab partners with a woman from Belize before schools closed. Initially, she was very friendly and warm and quickly invited me to visit her hometown in Belize and told me how they would welcome me and my husband and all the things we would go and see. I was thinking, whoa Nelly, we've only known each other a few weeks, but was nonetheless appreciative of her warm and welcoming nature. During our breaks, she'd often try and buy me coffees and share her food with me even though I didn't need it. We switched to Zoom meetings and online work but maintained our lab groups from class. Within the first 2 weeks of online labs she threatened her 6-year-old twice that he was going to get a beating and often marched out of her room screaming at him during our video calls. Then she threatened to beat me with her belt over her knee because I hadn't finished some work that was due a week from then. For the record, I'm a 29-year-old woman. For a multitude of reasons, I ended up getting permission from my professor to finish the labs on my own. Turns out that overly warm vibe has a nasty flip side. When someone says we should totally do something later then never makes an effort to make it happen. When you have to carry the conversation, you catch them lying or changing their story as they tell it from person to person. Always a sign that they are perpetual liars. When you make a friendly joke and they get mad and try to hit you. Define friendly joke. Sometimes people play as if they're the victim after getting behind beat for saying disrespectful things disguised as a joke. Oversharing. Sharing too much too fast. Like, haha I like raspberries too. Anyways, when I was 4 my dad killed my mom. They may be using you for emotional labor or as a crutch. And either way it's likely not good for you to commit yourself to that person. Important to set and maintain boundaries, kids. My friend needed a place to stay when her BF kicked her out. We gave her our place for the weekend while we were out of town. Came back and the house was trashed. She told us that she had as many as 10 people come over. She also had a boy stay over who she said slept on the couch, but it was pretty obvious they slept in our bed. What are friends? Ross, Monica, Rachel, Chandler, Joey and Phoebe. Non-stop talking about their own stories. A one-upper. You don't always need the best story, the worst story, the most anything story. It makes friendships hard cause they don't need to be a constant competition. Friendship is effort. No amount of I am introverted or I am busy all the time replaces that. You have time and energy for a few friends. Choose them wisely and be vocal about relationships. It's fine having a lot of acquaintances. It's not to keep on trying. People who gossip or mock people behind their back. It's a very ugly behavior and also likely to spread to you gossiping too if you aren't careful. Gossiping not only means that person probably shit-talks you behind your back, it also means they seek drama. Plus gossiping leads to a lot of bad misunderstandings when people start twisting truth for a better gossip story. Avoid people who gossip and your life will be a lot less stressful. If they trash talk their other friends behind their back with you, it doesn't mean that they trust you and want to enhance that you are a better friend. It means they will trash talk you with those friends behind your back too. And probably already have. I don't like that word. Don't say that word. When she keeps ignoring you or keeps treating you like shit, I've been like that and got almost no friends. Not a teetotaler by any means, but meeting someone for the first time who can't handle myself drunk is generally a pretty bad sign for me. And for clarity, I define that level of drunk as being violent, belligerent, or just way too reckless. Mood swings, walking on eggshells so as not to make them angry. Someone immediately telling you their entire life story. Big red flag. Always being the victim in their own stories. Acting too close for new acquaintances and telling you uncomfortably personal stuff unprompted. Usually despite attempts to get them to stop. Proclaiming their views, religion, politics, values, way too enthusiastically and firmly convinced that they are right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.